What is going on, everybody? I'm Jordan McKelly. That's my co-host, Mitchell Balla. We are the Cover Your Balls crew. A lot to get into today. Deshaun Watson. Is he a serial predator? I don't know. That's what his 14th lawsuit that got filed against him says. Mitch, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into March Madness. A lot of upsets that you and I picked right, but also you and I picked a lot of games wrong as well, which is why we are in the bottom of our own bracket. It is what it is, I suppose. And at the later end of the show, we're going to get in, is Brooklyn the best team in the NBA now that LeBron James is out with a high ankle sprain? I don't know. I don't know if Mitch Balla knows. I'm going to ask him. But Mitch, before we get into any of that, let's get into our top four at 4. Mitch, our top 4 at 4. Top 4 activities to do after COVID. Hit me with it.
You know, there's a lot that I want to do after COVID, but so much I forget because I forget what normal life is like. So we're going to go this one. Number 4. The idiotic rule that you must wear a mask into a restaurant, but you can take it off when you're sitting. But if you need to go to the bathroom, you got to put it back on. Apparently, COVID is very polite. I don't know if you knew this, Jordan, but when you're sitting down in an establishment and take your mask off, COVID can't get you, apparently. Did you know that?
I did not. Thank you for that.
So I can't wait to be done with that. But yeah, apparently COVID's so nice, it won't get you unless you get up from your table in a restaurant and walk somewhere with no mask on. So I can't wait for that to be done. Number 3. I don't even have 4. I'm just going to give you 3.
Okay.
Give you top. This is number 2. Live sporting events without a mask. Jordan, as we know, I got to see some live sporting events.
You did?
I had to have a mask the entire time. Pain in the ass. It's pain in the ass. It's just, I'm just tired of masks. Okay. And number 1 would be concerts or parties or packed bars or raves. Anything that can make me feel like I was in college again, partying without having to worry about social distancing, without people commenting and everything saying social distance, put a mask on. Like, shut up and worry about yourself.
Man.
Okay.
Ooh. What pillow did you wake up on the side of today? Wow. Holy moly. This was supposed to be a time to rejoice before we got into some pretty dark subject matter. Mitch.
Yeah.
Are you doing all right?
I'm doing fine. Just, I'm just tired of the people that think they can boss people around to put on masks. It's like, you know what? I already had COVID. You have that at least 90-day window of where you're not going to get it. It could be 150. Yes, you're still in the 90-day window. Yeah, that's right. Suck it.
Okay.
Suck it.
Well, let me get into mine. I have already been to a comedy show. I went to one 2 weeks ago. I went to go see Andrew Scholes down at the Funny Bone in Columbus. It was awesome. Another one, man, this music is getting really loud right now. We're gonna pause this. Sporting events. I didn't get to go to March Madness like you. I cannot wait to go to a Browns game. You have no idea. That's why my shirt's on today. At number 3, I can't wait to run in a park without a mask. I went to a race this weekend, Mitch, where there was no service. It was It was called Ohio Backyard Ultra, and you literally saw people run with a mask for over 200 miles. So I know you're bitching about, wearing a mask like in and out of the store. I watched several men and women wear a mask for over 200 miles today. I mean, this weekend. Just saying. And number 1 thing to do is I want to be able to travel internationally. I haven't gone anywhere outside of Windsor, Canada yet to drink when I was like 19 or 20. So, I really want to make that happen, Mitch. I want to make it happen.
I'm glad you brought up the masks. I'm not off this topic yet. We're not done with this topic.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you what really pisses me off besides the restaurant.
What is it?
Married couples that drive in the car and wear a mask when they're in the car together. Do you wear that when you're asleep? Like, that's honest. Do they wear it when they're sleeping? Because they have to if they're in a car together, right?
Maybe.
Like, they just look like complete idiots. Like, why? The people in the car by themselves. Why do you have a mask on?
It's a good question.
Like, just you can't fix stupid.
You can't fix stupid.
stay the hell home. There's plenty of alternatives for you. I get it. There's people who can't stay home because they got things to do. And if you have a immune deficiency disorder, then that's understandable. But for all you people that don't, and you ride around your car with your mask on, or you're with your significant other, whom you kiss and do other sexual things with, and you wear a mask when you're driving together in the car, get help. I'm done. I'm ready to talk about balls.
I mean, guys, this was bound to happen at some point. We have been on lockdown for, 14 or 15 months. It's understandable. Somebody else who may be on lockdown soon is Deshaun Watson. Guys, one of my favorite scenes in any movie is in The Dark Knight. The scene is played by Morgan Freeman. He's in Japan in The Dark Knight. He says, we can't afford to be in business with whatever it is you're accused of doing. And Deshaun Watson has been accused of doing, Mitch, some ridiculous things. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Like, cringeworthy. You read these stories and you're like, holy shit. Like, if I was one of these women, what would I have done? 14 allegations now. 14 lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson. Last week, we didn't think this was that real. Mitch, is this pretty real?
Yeah, you have to give somewhat of a benefit of the doubt just until all the facts come out. But every day that goes by and more cases get piled on, guys, there is obviously something going on with Deshaun Watson when it comes to females. 13 civil lawsuits, 6 of which were filed yesterday. Actually 14 now, I apologize. One in which he was called a serial predator, Jordan.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson, listen, I don't know what your love life's like, but bro, you're a professional athlete. It shouldn't be this hard. I mean, my goodness. I don't know what to say other than if this all comes back to be true, Deshaun Watson asking for a trade, the only trade that's going to be made is him from a football field into a prison. And that's about it.
Yeah, this is pretty frightening. I don't know how many people got this Chris Hanson reference, but holy shit. This is Deshaun Watson's a really good-looking guy, right? Like, he's a really good-looking guy, and he's getting paid $40 million a year. That's not counting endorsements, and I don't know what endorsements he has, but let me tell you what endorsements he's not going to have if he has any. None, okay? Maybe Kraft macaroni and cheese, okay? That might be his only sponsor left by this. What's really weird about this entire situation, Mitch, is that Houston has turned down all phone calls for this buffoon. They've turned down all the phone calls. And I still have yet to hear them, step aside and say, we don't want this guy, on our team anymore. How can you, if you're a team, I was listening to Ian Rappaport on Pat McAfee's show the other day. He said that there are still 5 teams interested in Deshaun Watson. How in the hell could 5 teams be interested in a guy who to lead their team who's done these things? If he's done things that are just half as bad as what these are, I don't want him leading my team, okay? I don't want to be in the shower. This guy comes up and smacks me with his dick. I don't want that if I'm playing with Deshaun Watson. This whole thing is creepy. It's weird.
Shower. This man's walking down the street.
It's weird, man. It's just weird. This stuff is, you think you've seen it all. And I thought my Deshaun Watson takes were going to come back and get me someday. And I don't think they're ever going to come back and get me. Ever now.
Jordan, have we been looking at this wrong the entire time?
Enlighten me. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Think Deshaun Watson just hates losing, is a big baby, and that's why he went out of Houston? Or does he went out of Houston because he knew he has sexually assaulted or done inappropriate things to 14 and could be more females now, was worried he's going to get caught. And guess who's getting caught now if this all turns out to be true? You are innocent until proven guilty, and that's what I'm going to give him. Benefit of the doubt.
Oh, no doubt. And we should. We absolutely should. Absolutely.
We've seen it multiple times before. The one that comes to mind is Sean Oakman from Baylor, who was accused of rape. You remember Sean Oakman, and people that don't, you do. He was the big meme. He played for Baylor. He was absolutely jacked. He made Mark Ingram look small at a
I'll bring up a
coin toss
pitcher.
I don't know.
I got you.
He was a massive human being, a projected first-round pick, was accused of rape, and went to prison for 2 years, 3 years, never got drafted, only for it to be a false rape accusation. Okay.
Yep.
We do see things like this all the time in the world. One, rape is wrong, but two, false rape accusations need to be just as wrong as if it was a real rape accusation, in my opinion. I know that probably isn't popular with some people, but people that are trying to ruin people's lives by doing this, that have everything, it's wrong. But now it makes me wonder if, and there's Sean Oakman right there. You
Holy
people,
shit.
an absolute behemoth of a man. He would tear you apart, tear your
Yeah.
family apart, and then tear your neighbors apart too.
Yeah.
But he actually wouldn't because he's a nice guy. This woman probably
He
made
is.
it out to seem like he was
Ruined his life. And so that's why you definitely have to, there has to be evidence, but like, okay, a couple cases, 14, that's a lot.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
And for people out there,
Is that Baker's dozen? What's a Baker's dozen? 13? That's more than a Baker's dozen. Lord have mercy.
But the people out there that are like, why are they all coming out now? Trying to figure this out. If you guys remember, and is it Larry Nasser was the gymnast coach that was touching Olympic?
Yeah.
Right. Those girls didn't come out until one came out, and then one more felt comfortable to come out, and then one more, and the trend kept coming, and more people kept coming out because more spoke out, and that's part of the reason that I am worried that this is true, and that's why people need to chill, in my opinion. I think one person finally spoke out, and somebody, if these are true, somebody said, "Well, if she did it, I can do it." Well, if those two did it, then us three can do it, and that's why we're starting to see it multiply now. And we won't know until this is cleared, until this goes through the law, the courts, whatever happens.
But it's just civil lawsuits right now. And that's the thing, is he's gonna lose a lot of money, but I don't think any like legal she's gonna happen at all. So how I don't.
And that's where it could be wrong if this isn't true, because people are just going after him because of his money. And that's why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But every day,
14,
that a new case, I know every day that a new case comes out, it's harder to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's a lot.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. But it's just astonishing to me that teams still want Deshaun Watson. I think that's what boggles my mind the most, is if these allegations are true, this puts you at the lowest of low human beings, right? And the fact that people would want to surround a couple $1 billion company around an individual who's supposed to lead that, who's supposedly doing these, that bothers me. But let's move on to brighter days. Let's move on to some March Madness, Mitch.
Ooh.
We picked about every upset. We got the Ohio upset. We said Iowa wasn't making it far. We had a couple more. We're not gonna get into all those. We got a lot of them wrong too, though. But you got that one right.
The Beavers. Did the people bet the Beavers? Because I told you to bet the Beavers, and guess who's still alive?
Did
the Beavs?
Did.
But yeah, other than that, it was a real tough scene throughout Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when it comes to our brackets, Jordan, and pretty much all of America's bracket. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you could say that, because all of the Big Ten teams are out of the tournament except Michigan. Michigan is the only team left, and they have a matchup versus Florida State. Not tonight. 5 days from now, on the 28th. Mitch, you taking Michigan in that game versus Florida State?
I am. I had Michigan picked. Listen, Big Ten awful showing. As an Ohio State fan, you're supposed to hate Michigan, but at least Michigan has done something right for once. I mean, and listen, they didn't have an easy game against LSU last night, whether you want to say they were officiated poorly or not. I mean, they dug deep. They came away at the end with a win over LSU, a tough athletic team. Now the question, Jordan, goes to, is Isaiah Livers nearing a return? We talked about this last week during our preview show. We knew he wasn't going to play in the round of 64 and the round of 32. We're into the Sweet 16. They win. They're into the Elite Eight. Is Isaiah Livers any closer to coming back and even being half of what he is? Because yesterday during the broadcast, they talked about how great of a leader he is right now on the bench still. That leadership would more than likely carry over to the court as well, especially when you're a player of Livers' level, even if he's 100% or not. I do Michigan still. They have a lot to like. Florida State's tough though. It's not going to be easy, Jordan. A lot of these games I don't think are going to be easy when we go through the rest of these the Sweet 16 matchups. But Florida representing the Big Ten, and Jay Billis said it perfectly. The Big Ten wasn't overrated. The Big Ten was just underprepared when it came to the first round matchups. Um, on Friday morning, I had started telling Justin, who was in episode 35, and
Yep.
Mitch Farnsworth, who is a Michigan fan. I wasn't confident against Ohio State all of a sudden. Oral Roberts had the top score in the country. They were sixth in 3-point percentage, one of the best free throw shooting percentage teams in the country. Ohio State doesn't play a lick of defense. And it came back to bite him in the ass. Dwayne Washington, who thinks he's the greatest scorer of all time, bit him in the ass. I had said it all year. The Buckeyes were only going to go as far as Washington let them go. And he came back to bite him in the ass. And I listen, I'm a Buckeye fan, but I cannot stand the way he plays basketball. I can't. I don't know who he thinks he is. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, it's playing 5-on-4 is what it is. That's all it is. Purdue losing North Texas was tough.
Yep.
Illinois getting Sister Jean. They didn't lose to Loyola Chicago.
Ooh, man, that was rough.
They show Sister Jean like she just made a 3-pointer.
Oh my gosh!
And threw an alley-oop like she's on the court. No, she's not. She's vaccinated with the mask, sitting in the arena. Doesn't even know what's going on at the time. Okay, so get the camera off her and put it back on the damn game. Okay, I'm tired of seeing Sister Jean like she just did something miraculous. Okay,
man,
congrats. She's 101, 102.
You are hot today.
Well, I'm just tired of all this BS. Like, why I'm not there to watch Sister Jean. If I wanted to watch Sister Jean, I'd go to church. Okay. That's where I'd go. No, I'm tuning into CBS to listen to whoever's broadcasting that game and watching Kofi Cockburn ball out. And apparently, everybody else sucked because Sister Jean held Io DeSumo and unanimous All-American to 9 points. Good job, Sister Jean. Didn't realize she had it in her.
Yeah, they have an interesting matchup with your Beavers, Loyola Chicago. That's not a Chicago accent. Not sure what the hell that was, but Loyola Chicago's playing Oregon State, Mitch. An 8-12 matchup to get into the Elite Eight. Who you got in that?
I'm gonna roll Loyola, Jordan. They are great defensive. Listen, the Beavers are still hot, but I ultimately think that the break might hurt Oregon State. I'd love to see the Beavers roll. I do like Loyola as a basketball team. Just tired of this Sister Jean BS, and it's nothing against her. It's just, I mean, my goodness.
It seems like there's some Sister Jean talk in the chat too. So it seems like she's a pretty focal point of the show. Mitch, I have Houston in the championship game versus Alabama, and they are continuing to roll. Their next game is maybe versus the most irritating team of all time to watch. Any Jim Boeheim team is the worst basketball to watch come playoff time, because I have to watch a whole bunch of teams struggle with something that is very easy to defeat, and it's called the zone. And it boggles my mind every year how everybody is so confused on how to beat a zone. And Syracuse, who came into this tournament as an 11 seed, honest to God, has as good a chance of anybody to making it to the championship with who they have in front of them right now. How far do you think Syracuse can go?
Syracuse can go as far as Boeheim takes them. And I'm not talking about Jim Boeheim. I'm talking about his son, the walking bucket, Buddy Boeheim.
Buddy Boeheim,
yep. That man is a bucket getter, Jordan. He has, listen, I hadn't watched Syracuse a whole lot this year just because I was into the Big Ten, into my teams. Buddy Boeheim is a bucket, and he is the reason, not only because of the zone that they throw at teams and these basketball coaches act like they've never seen it before in their lives, but he can go get a bucket whenever. It doesn't matter who's guarding him, big, small, slow, fast. He's a walking bucket. He's one of the best scorers left in the tournament, in my opinion. Top 5 scorer in the tournament. Listen, they will go as far as he takes them. The defense, they live and die by the zone, and you saw that against West Virginia as West Virginia started to get back into that game. But ultimately, they threw a little wrench right when West Virginia had a chance to tie, and it caused a turnover and end of the game. What's crazy is Boeheim's record as a double-digit seed in the NCAA tournament is like, what is it? 6-2 now, 7-2. Like he's a pretty good, which is a double-digit seed, which is crazy. But
I
Them
mean,
versus
he's a
Houston,
really good coach.
he is. Them versus Houston is going to be a great matchup. Can Houston, who likes to run and gun and get out, we saw them just absolutely obliterate Cleveland State.
My
They
God,
got
31.
they didn't get lucky. Rutgers straight up choked that game against Houston, trying to milk the clock up 5 with 2.5 minutes to go. You just don't do that. They should have lost last round, but this is an intriguing matchup. The matchups in the Midwest to get to the Elite Eight are wild.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think that's to put it lightly. We have an 8, an 11, and a 12 seed left in a 2 seed. I mean, that's ludicrous. That has to be one of the highest. I bet you if we look it up after this show, that has to be 3 of the 4 highest seeds to ever make it that far. I mean, that's pretty. It's pretty remarkable.
From the round of 32, it was already history in the NCAA that 4 seeds above 13 had made it to the second round. There was 2 13s, a 14, and a 15. First time it's ever happened.
But what did we say? We talked about the 4-13 matchup. Last show, we talked about the 4-3 matchup. Did we talk about the 4-3 matchup? We did. And 50% of the teams in the 4-3 matchup won. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't understand how the 13 seeds are still winning at this rate. But I want to jump to something else. Last week when we did our March Madness episode, guys, as soon as we talked about North Carolina, I can see the numbers for the show and everything. As soon as I started trashing North Carolina, the numbers started dropping. So if you're a North Carolina fan, hold on a second. Here's the deal. I said that Roy Williams is not a good coach as a high seed. And what happens? What happened? Mitch, do you know what happened? They got bitch smacked by 23 versus Wisconsin, a Wisconsin team that also got dominated by Baylor the next week. North Carolina fans, I'm a Duke fan. You see JJ Redick on the wall? My new pictures? I'm a Duke fan. We didn't even make the tournament. It's okay. You're better than us, but you have no chance ever as an 8 seed in the tournament. But here's where the joke's on me, Mitch, because getting into this, I had Wisconsin actually beating Baylor. And so,
I did too.
And that obviously didn't happen. Baylor had their way with Wisconsin. And frankly, watching Baylor play, they're as good as anybody. They're a really scary team right now. I'm kind of mad at myself for not picking them because one of the points I made last show was, Baylor, I'm pretty sure has made it to 2 other Final Fours in the last decade. I think the first one was in 2010 when they lost to Duke on the way, and there's another one. They've had some pretty good teams. Can they get over the hump? I think they are going to get over the hump this time. I'm not sure what there is to talk about the rest of that bracket. That's pretty much, we have Arkansas versus Oral Roberts at the bottom in the South, which is awesome. And then we have Baylor versus Villanova. We'll see if Jay Wright can get past Baylor and lead his team past there. But let's hop over to Gonzaga. Gonzaga, can they finally win a national championship, Mitch? We're going to have to wait to find out. They got a matchup coming up on the 28th versus Creighton. Can the McDermotts rise above Gonzaga? Or do you think this is pretty much Gonzaga's walk to the Final Four right now?
I think this is Gonzaga's walk to the Elite Eight for sure.
Oh.
I think that there's only 2 teams left in the entire tournament that can give them fits. One's Oregon, the other's Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Gonzaga won 87-71 over Oklahoma yesterday, took a career day from Dakota Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did they win, they still covered the spread with their 2 best players having off or average performances.
Yeah.
That's how good this Gonzaga team is. Their 3rd or 4th best player drops a career high down low in Timmy. And it was still enough. Corey Kispert had an off game, had 5 points, 2 fouls, less than 10 minutes into the game, had to go to the bench. I mean, he was the conference's player of the year. Jalen Suggs struggled a bit too. This Gonzaga team is legit. Now, I've said it all year, though. Half the time, the best team, most of the time, actually, the best team throughout the entire year doesn't end up winning the national championship. The last time an undefeated team won it all was 1976 with Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers. But Jordan, I don't see a weakness in Gonzaga unless they get into major foul trouble and they're all off when they're shooting. I don't see how Creighton can stop. Listen, Creighton played a great game yesterday against Ohio. And I think that if they played that game again against Gonzaga, whatever the spread is, they won't even cover it because Gonzaga is just that much better offensively and even defensively too. I think they'll stop Creighton, but I think it'll ultimately come down to if Oregon's athleticism and size and length or Baylor's athleticism, size and length and ability to shoot the 3-point ball. Those are the only two teams I can see stopping Gonzaga.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you just look at the box score from last game, like their starting five is so legit. Like 4 of their 5 starters had 7 to 9 made field goals. That's unbelievable. They had 4 guys. Hold on here. Let me just bring this up. 17, 23, 21, 19 in 9. They had 4 guys with 17 or more points on their starting lineup. That's unbelievable. They got off to a really fast start. Luka Garza, he played unbelievable. He's 14 for 20. How does your star player go 14 for 20 and you get trounced by 15? Like trounced. It's wild. He played a really good game. I know I was joking with you when I was sending you messages about, man, Garza, he just can't get it done. But he played a really good game. Really good game. I actually have Oregon, by the way, in this next game. I mean, in the Elite Eight versus Gonzaga. So I have them winning this next game. Do you think USC in Oregon is going to be a good game? Or do you think Oregon is that hot right now?
I think it'll be a great game strictly because they are Pac-12 rivals and they know how each other plays.
Yep.
I think being conference foes already, you know what to expect. They already have watched film on them for regular season matchups. Now you're talking about more detailed and you already know what to expect to a certain degree. I think it will be a phenomenal matchup to get to the Elite Eight. Ultimately, I want to pick Oregon, but I think it's too early to do that because USC put it to Kansas last night, giving the Jayhawks their worst loss in NCAA tournament history.
34 points. 34. Yeah. 34. That's unbelievable.
I was not high on Kansas at all this year.
I wasn't either. I had USC winning that game.
They struggled with Eastern Washington in the first round. I mean, they really did. They didn't take the lead till I believe 7 minutes to go in the game.
Yep.
Eastern Washington gave them all they could handle. And so I wasn't shocked at all to see the Jayhawks get bounced. Also just never been a Bill Self fan. Seems like a guy who just can't quite get it done.
Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, me and Maurice were talking this morning about there is a guy on Kansas who runs with a stick up his ass. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was hilarious. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but Mitch, it was terrible. Did you watch the game
last night?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Kansas deserved to lose. If that guy was on their starting lineup, they deserved to lose. He was awful. I can't think of his name, and I don't want to embarrass him. I know there's a lot of people listening out there, possibly his parents. I'm not going to do that. Mitch, I messed up on one of the matchups. We covered literally one matchup in one region, covered the rest, and I just left one loose. And it's the most important matchup for me. It's UCLA versus Alabama because I have Alabama as my national champion. Who you got in that?
Alabama's going to beat UCLA. I mean, they have to have had the easiest and best luck when it comes.
You
to
said Maryland was going to hold on, bro. You said Maryland was going to beat Alabama. Hold on here.
When did I say that? When did I say I have UConn beating Maryland in the bracket?
Oh, I thought I could turn around in this. I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
When did I say
I'm pretty sure you have Maryland beating them in the bracket. What are you talking about?
I'm looking right now. UConn beats Maryland. UConn beats Bama. UConn advances to the Sweet 16. Yeah, you're looking at the wrong person in our bracket challenge.
I don't know. Looks like it's Mitch Balla Maryland. Let's go ahead and move on. We can move on to the NBA. It's okay. We don't have to look that up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So
Mitch,
you don't want to look it up?
No, it's good.
I
don't think we have time to do that right now. Mitch, we don't have any headlines today because there's a lot going on. But
busy.
Yeah, we've been busy. Into the NBA now. LeBron James, high ankle sprain. We don't know when he's going to be back. Are the Brooklyn Nets now the overwhelming favorite?
Have to be.
Do they? Do they?
They've been the favorite out of the East all year. Most people think they're the favorite to win the title.
Mm-hmm.
If the best player in the world, and LeBron James, is out, then yes, they're going to. They have to be the favorites right now. At least in the East. I mean, I still think that until we know what happens with LeBron, they are title favorites. But listen, LeBron, AD coming back from injury at the same time being well rested, that could be all the Lakers need. And we'll have to wait to see what they do here. The trade deadline, they're rumored to be going after Andre Drummond. But for the question you posed, yes, I think the Nets have to be title favorites.
Wow. I agree with you. Unfortunately, right now, I'd hate for this to work so that everybody else in the NBA thinks that this is how you go and do it. You know what I mean? Because the Nets have to be the most unorthodox, like, superstar team to put together ever. It's not people you really want to root for, I guess. Really that's my true reasoning. Like, I don't think we really want to root for Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, or James Harden. They might be the three most they're definitely three very polarizing figures for different reasons in my eyes. And now they're probably going to walk right in, because who's going to beat them in the East? Honest to God, I don't know if James Harden and Kyrie Irving would lose the East without Kevin Durant. Like, I literally think they could win the East right now. It's becoming that, especially if Joel Embiid is. I just don't know. I don't trust that he can make it to the end of the season.
The Sixers are frauds.
What?
Sixers are frauds anyway. I've said it all year.
Well, the Sixers are frauds. You're absolutely right. Yeah. It is what it is. Do you think LeBron is back within the month? Do you think, because we talked about this the other day, and you had some interesting thoughts on this, and I wanted you to elaborate on the show today, because I don't think anybody else has really thought this through like you have.
High ankle sprain generally is 4 to 6 weeks. You're out. They've said LeBron is 3 to 8. Why 8? Listen, his injury was pretty bad. Most people in the NBA, they're probably out for a while. LeBron invests almost $2 million in his body every year. But, Jordan, this is what I told you. Ankle sprain, there's no doubt about that. Probably a 3 to 4 week injury. LeBron and the staff and medical, I believe, said 8 weeks so he can now get his rest. Because we saw how quick the season started after the conclusion of them winning the finals. LeBron has barely taken any time off compared to everybody else with their load management. So now here's a way for LeBron James to get his rest, work on his ankle, get it back, feel 100%, stretch, run in the playoffs. And let's be honest, the Lakers just have to play 500 ball. Maybe they can get by with just a little below it, but they cannot become the Lakers after Kobe Bryant retired before they got LeBron, because they will miss that West. They will miss the playoffs because of how competitive the West is. But LeBron James doesn't give a damn about seeding. He said it before. Part of me wonders if LeBron is going to rest just so they can get an 8 seed to see what happens. I mean, what narrative would there be now to stop LeBron from being in the greatest of all time conversation, which he already is. But for the people out there, if he won the West as an 8 seed and then went to the finals, I mean, what else?
Yeah, I mean, virtually you have to beat the number 1 seed anyways. So, right? Like, so does it really matter when LeBron does that? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I part of me thinks the same thing, Mitch, because we all know LeBron likes to cook up a good old story. And he does want to be the GOAT. Like, he 100% wants to be the GOAT. Nobody could change my mind on that. I know for a fact that he wants to be seen as the best ever. And I don't think that's really a discussion we should even have anymore, because I think it's pretty obvious. I think it is. And what if he did get in as the 8 seed? What if he did? He'd play the Utah Jazz in the first round. Think they could beat the Utah Jazz in the first round? Sure.
Yeah.
If not, they'll play the Suns. Like, I don't think that's going to be necessarily an issue. Maybe they don't get through the West, but I don't think they lose a first round game.
No, We've seen it before. He said when he was in Cleveland, he doesn't even care about home court. So by getting the 8 seed, you're guaranteed to never have home court throughout the entire postseason.
Yeah.
So it's just another stereotype that he would be able to add to his record book and his resume that look what I've done that nobody else has done. Yeah, we've seen an 8 seed win the first round before, but has the 8 seed gone on to win 2 rounds and makes the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, but
and the NBA
it's
Finals?
not going to matter to people who are in the Jordan conversation. Okay, some people, I saw a comment by a guy on Twitter today because they were talking about Kobe Bryant. He was like, yeah, Kobe Bryant is definitely the best. Michael Jordan wasn't that far behind. I was like, man, people truly have no basketball knowledge. It's not going to matter what else LeBron does. LeBron versus the greatest team ever came back from a 3-1 deficit. 3-1 deficit. When do you ever hear that? Ever hear that in the LeBron Jordan argument? Like,
Never.
LeBron's already done things that no one's ever done. I don't think it matters. I think if you're in that conversation, LeBron or Jordan, Kobe or whatever, like, I think you already have your mind made up. I don't think there's anything LeBron's going to do that you're going to even take into consideration. Like, it's the Jordan LeBron conversation in the Kobe, it's kind of like watching like all these like political network shows and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's like throw logic out the fucking window. We're logic, stats, opinion only. It's like, what? No. Like, if LeBron does other great things, you should take them into consideration, even if you don't like him. Because if you're going to assess people and you're ranking them, you have to look at everything. You can't be biased versus it just because you don't like him, right? Like, that's ridiculous.
You're
ridiculous.
Right. You're absolutely.
So that conversation is just like null and void. It's like it's just like an endless pit, right? It's never gonna end.
Maybe he's just bored. You know, maybe LeBron's just like, let's try this. You know, maybe we'll try this. Maybe we'll try that. Who knows what he's doing? What I do know though is
what do you know?
The Lakers are in trouble. Your top 2 players are out.
Yeah,
right? And they're going to have to do a lot. They're only a half game up on the Clippers for the 3rd seed in the West. But Jordan, then they're only 2.5 up on the Nuggets, the Blazers, who are the 5 and 6 seed, only 4 up on the Spurs, and 4.5 up on the Mavericks. That's everybody in the playoff picture right now.
Yeah.
The Lakers I think they're going to struggle. However, you don't think they're going to. In fact, you think they're going to get another star out of this.
Here's the deal. Kyle Kuzma's better. Kyle Kuzma is way better than we think he is. I think playing on a team with LeBron is just incredibly tough. There's a reason a lot of players don't want to play on a team with LeBron, and there's a lot of reasons why veterans will play with LeBron, because obviously they're smarter. They want to win at that point, but younger players don't want to mess with LeBron. I think it's very difficult to play with him. I think it's really difficult to play with him if you want to emerge as a star. If you're a role player, I think playing with LeBron might be the greatest gift God's ever given you, right? Because if you're a role player, LeBron's just plug and play, and LeBron is a general. Like, what's that one game where you used to fish body, like, organs out of the human body, and like you couldn't hit the sides? What was that game called? Operation. That's what that game was called. That's how good LeBron is. Like, he's like Operation good. And the problem with that is I don't think players can actually try things out and figure their game out. And I think Kyle Kuzma is going to figure his game out while they're out. And I think he's going to be an asset down the line. He has freakish athleticism. You cannot tell me he's not better. I think it's really hard for players like him to come off the bench and go back, not have long stints on the court. I think it's really hurting his development. It was the best thing ever for Lonzo to get out of LA, and it would have been a really, really, really good thing for him to get out of LA too. But not really, because he won a championship, so I would take that still. Yeah. I'd still take that. But don't you think it's hard to emerge as a star? Like, obviously, Kyrie thought so. Like, he wanted out. Because Kyrie, honestly, he doesn't have a problem playing with stars, right? He teamed up with KD. He teamed up with the only other player that is on LeBron's level. So clearly that's not the issue.
Set out this year.
What?
How many games has he set out this year?
Who?
Kyrie.
I don't. A lot. Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to another birthday party or something. I saw on an ESPN headline the other day. It was like 3 missed games for personal issues. Hopefully everything's good with Kyrie. I'm just joking. But yeah, he did sit out.
He sat out a lot this year, and it happens to be he's sitting out more and more when Kevin Durant's out. So does he not like? Listen, I hope everything's okay with him too, because he's a person as well. But you have to then ask yourself, does he not like playing with certain superstars? He felt like he was treated like a child in Cleveland.
I think every star would say that though. Not everybody would play with everybody. Like not anybody would play with everybody. Like I think everybody would be selective to an example, and I don't think that we should take a shot at Kyrie for that. I think we should all be selective of who we're putting ourselves around. I mean, you got to remember, this is still a job. I got to work with them. Why would you pick somebody who's difficult to work with? So maybe, Kevin Durant, I don't think is very difficult to work with. I think he's a lot easier to work with than LeBron, frankly. So I think he can work with a superstar. I just don't think it can be a superstar who is very vocal and dominant. KD is not that, so it fits. It complements. Like Kyrie and Kawhi could have worked. Same thing, same compliment.
I think we'll see. I think we've already seen enough of Kyle Kuzma when he's on the court without LeBron, when LeBron got hurt that first year, and he still has never stepped up to be the guy that everyone's been enamored with. They thought him and Brandon Ingram were going to be these two superstars, and Brandon Ingram, he did get shipped out and isn't playing with LeBron, and he's balling. But Kyle Kuzma hasn't really done himself any favors when he's on the court without LeBron, and when he's played when LeBron is out. He's done himself no favors. Yeah. That's why I'm not confident in him. I think I'm not impressed with him at all. But we're going to have to wait and see. And now, Jordan, the focus shifts to who the hell is the MVP frontrunner? I already told you who it is now.
Who?
It's still a no-brainer.
Who?
LeBron James.
LeBron James? How? How could LeBron James be the MVP frontrunner? How? Go ahead.
What does MVP stand for?
Most valuable player.
Most valuable player.
Yes.
So if the Lakers now, who have stayed very relevant, top of the West without Anthony Davis, correct? LeBron James is still playing.
Yeah.
All right. Top 3 seed in the West. So now what happens if the Lakers, the bottom absolutely falls out, right? What if they fall to the 8 seed? What if they fall out of the playoff picture? And then LeBron comes back and all of a sudden they're title favorites again. How are you going to tell me that's not the most valuable player? That's exactly what it is. It's not James Harden dropping 30, 40 points. It's not Joel Embiid averaging a double-double.
I see what you did there.
Averaging a triple-double as a 6 seed. Yeah. Most valuable player. If the Lakers bottom falls off here, LeBron James is still the MVP, but you know what? The league won't give it to him because he was hurt. But this just goes to show you he is still the best player in the NBA, and it's going to be proven here because I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to stay where they are in the Western Conference standings, and I think they are going to struggle. I mean, hell, their third best player now is Taylor Horton Tucker.
He's not their third best player.
4th.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on this right now. It is what it is. The fact that you think he'd be the most valuable player if he missed that many more games is outlandish to say to say it lightly. It would be outlandish. Outlandish.
Listen, if you took James Harden, who right now is not the betting favorite because Jokic coming in today was the favorite. If you take James Harden off the Nets, are the Nets still a playoff team?
Yeah.
You still, a lot of people thought they were title contenders without James Harden.
Right? Oh yeah. I was thinking if I thought you were talking about if KD wasn't there too, assuming he wasn't healthy. No, of course. Honest to God, I think they might be better. It's not crazy to say that they might be better with just 2 of the superstars. As long as both 2 superstar groups consisted of at least Kevin Durant. Like that's not crazy to say.
I'll agree with that. Listen, LeBron's not going to win MVP, okay? All I'm saying is this proves the point.
Why though, Mitch? You obviously have the answer. Why is he not going to win? Because I'm going to have you answer it so I don't have to answer it because it's an easy answer.
One, because he's hurt, and two, because they're going to give it to somebody else.
No, because he's not going to play enough games, Mitch. Because he's not going to play enough games. Hey, employee of the month. Employee of the month goes to Jordan McKelly. He worked 4 nights this week for us. I mean, 4 nights this month. He's worked 4 out of 30 days, but he's our employee of the month. He worked really hard those 4 out of 30 days. Go Jordan. No. Come on, Mitch. How can somebody get an award?
Past decade. And it's not, it's true too. And it's only going to be more relevant now that he is still the most valuable player.
Okay, yeah, but he has to play enough games. You have to show up to, that's like saying, I won the perfect attendance award, but I missed 23 days of school. What? No, how do you win the perfect attendance award? How do you get a perfect attendance award? How do you get any award for missing 23 days of school? We don't give awards for people who don't show up for a good portion of work. We don't give awards for those. At least we shouldn't. I don't know.
I'm saying,
I'm crazy.
He should. He won't. He absolutely won't. He should be, though. It's only going to further prove he is still the most valuable player in the NBA.
He is. I would say. Actually, I don't know.
And he's been the best player in the league now for 10 plus years. Hell, Steph Curry in 2014, 2015 won an MVP, right?
Yeah, he
averaged 24 and 7. LeBron averaged 25, 6 and 7.
Yeah.
All right. LeBron's still better. Didn't win MVP. 2010, 2011 in Miami.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose won MVP, averaging 25, 4 and 7. LeBron almost 27, 7 and 7. Since then, he has still been the most valuable player in the league. And it's proven when he leaves to go to a new team or when he gets hurt. The Cavs are the worst team ever still since LeBron's left a second time. You're telling me that's not most valuable? It's just a crime. Look, he's not going to. I think he should.
It is a season-by-season award, Mitch. It's a season-by-season award. I understand, his legacy and everything. Cool. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the 2020-2021 season. That's it. If LeBron doesn't play enough games, like when James Harden won the MVP off 65 games, I thought it was crazy. How could you miss 17 of 82 games and win the MVP? I didn't agree with it then. I don't agree with it now just because I like LeBron more than James Harden. That would be bias. It's straight up, if you miss that many games, what did I say about Joel Embiid? He had 7 missed games last time we talked about this. 7. That's a lot. I said if he doesn't miss that many more games, they win the East. Even if we don't think they're going to win the East, he should win the award. But he's going to miss too many games, so he can't win it either. That's fair. I mean, how can we give it to guys who don't play a majority of the season?
The point I'm trying to make is...
What is that exactly? That he's the most valuable person, not if you took...
No. You're going to tell me right now, LeBron James is not the most valuable player in the league.
I mean, based off of record, if I was basing value off of record in taking one player off a team, I think there are multiple players that I could take off multiple teams that I'm looking at right now, and the record would drop in relatively the same. Now, if we're going to talk about playoff value, LeBron, that's different. But if we're going to talk about just value, if we take a player off a team, what would Vegas say? I think Portland would drop if they lost Dame just as much as LA would lose if they lost LeBron. I think there's a lot of players like that. If Phoenix lost Chris Paul, what would Utah do if they lost Donovan Mitchell? Holy shit. Look at some of these teams. What would Milwaukee do if they lost? And these are all teams with almost identical records to the Lakers. I think there's a lot of teams that have players that if they lost a person, if we're just talking about the regular season, right now, value in the MVP is a regular season award, right, Mitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, regular season award. So if it's a regular season award, we have to take in every player that maybe statistically is in the realm of if you take that player out of a roster for a team, what impact does it have? I think LeBron's not alone in that. If we're going to talk about that, I think there's multiple players. And that's why I don't think him missing games because I think there's other players with more value. Like it's the Joker, like we have to really take him way more serious than we've taken him for sure. Like Dame, like
he's a 6th seed.
Yeah, but look at the records. The records are so close. Like what's really a 6th seed to the 3 seed right now? Look at it. Like what, 2.5 games?
6 seed to 6 seed.
Yeah, but it's the end of the season's not right now either. So we'll see. We'll see.
You compare.
Who was on crack?
That's all. That's what you're on. You compare Donovan Mitchell to LeBron James
and for value. What would the Jazz do if they didn't have Donovan Mitchell? What would they do? Who would shoot?
Oh, I don't know.
Who?
Bogdanovich, Ingles, Conley. Those guys, they get buckets. Gobert, multiple time defensive player of the year.
A defensive player of the year. Right. Okay, so defensive player of the year doesn't get buckets, but it does. It does. I know. I'm giving you a little crap now. It's fair enough. I'm on crack a little bit. But I think there are multiple players. I think there's a lot of people in the chat that would agree too. I know there's a lot of our chat right now is Ohio based. And so it's probably going to be LeBron, some pretty LeBron like biased people out there. But you can't tell me that there's not 5 to 7 other players as valuable for a regular season.
For a regular season, there isn't, because we've seen it happen before with the Lakers already.
Okay.
Top 3 in the West. LeBron out for the year, missed the playoffs. Comes back the next year, win the finals. Right now, 3rd in the West.
What does that have to do with this year, this regular season we're talking about?
I am taking regular season, sir, and telling you it matters. So now, I want you today, tell me where they are, and we're going to revisit this when he comes back.
Revisit what when who comes back?
Where the Lakers are when he comes back, standing wise and record wise. What? So you're out here acting like the Lakers aren't going to fall at all with how you're talking, throwing slander at LeBron James.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I think the Lakers are going to drop some games, no doubt. I think the Lakers are not going to be as good as they were without LeBron. That's lunacy. I mean, maybe the greatest player of all time. All I'm saying that if, say, all the rosters were fully healthy, and we took the best player off 5 to 7 teams, for a matter of fact, like, I feel like it would have almost the same exact effect record-wise on a regular season. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a regular season award. And we're talking about value for a regular season. And we're talking about value individual players add to their team. And I'm telling you that LeBron is not alone, okay? LeBron is really good right now. But if you think that he's just like LeBron from 6 years ago, you're out of your mind. Mitch, he's not. He's good, but he's not that good anymore. He's really good, though. He's really good. He's still great. But, like, he was up so high. He was only going to come down as he aged. There's other people's valuable as him right now. I still think he's the best player in the world. Because situational basketball comes down, like playoff basketball comes down to it at that point. I still think he's the best player in the world. Close with Kevin Durant, but I think there's other players valuable, and like the regular season matters. It matters. Like everything you do in the regular season, there's other players doing statistically way better things, and maybe a better impact with just their presence. I mean, the Suns have a better record than them. All they added was Chris Paul. Don't tell me Chris Paul's not as valuable as LeBron. Mitch, got anything else for the NBA? You have any things you want to talk about the Cavs? You need anything to get off your chest because they're playing well right now.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
They lost the Sacramento Kings last night.
Mitch, they've won like 2 out of their last 8 games. It's progress.
Yeah, they beat the Raptors, who can't even play in their own damn home city.
Man, they're rough right now. Raptors are rough.
They are. Raptors are 1-9 in the last 10. They're rough.
They're rough.
The Tampa Bay Raptors are struggling. I mean, the team that can't even play in their own country.
Oh my gosh, that's right. They're playing in Tampa Bay. That's probably why they're playing so bad. None of them can hang out with their their families are probably in Tampa Bay too.
Look, it counts as a win in the record book. I don't count that as a true win for the Cavs. I mean, listen, this team is terrible, which means they're going to go on another win streak here. So
I stand corrected. They were 4-6 out of their last 10 games. They actually are playing fantastic basketball. And the Raptors are on a 9-game losing streak, which is remarkable. I don't know how that's happening. My Boston Celtics pick is just looking worse and worse. And yet, nobody in the East can pull away. If you're looking, guys, at the East right now, the 4 through the 8 seed is a game apiece, like a game apart. Like the 4 seed is 22-21, and 21-22 is the 8 seed. Looking at this, are there only 3 teams? Like, can anybody outside the Bucks and Nets or the Sixers like threaten to win the East? Like, you think you go ahead.
Heat are coming.
Heat are coming.
They've jumped all the way up to the 4 seed. Remember a couple weeks ago they weren't even in the playoff picture?
They weren't.
Well, like I said, they're getting healthy. They already got their COVID issues out of the way, and here they come. I still think the Heat would beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series. Now, what sucks is they won't play unless it be the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think the Heat will beat the Sixers. Listen, when healthy, I think the Heat will
the
be
Sixers aren't beating the Heat. The Sixers aren't beating the Heat. They're not beating the Heat.
I think the Heat when healthy are going to be the second. I think the Heat when healthy will be the biggest threat to the Nets. Actually, I can't.
I think you're right, Mitch.
No, because
I think you are personally.
Giannis.
Maybe you're wrong then, because I don't think you're right now.
Giannis is the only one I think in the Eastern Conference that could give Kevin Durant fits when it comes defensively. He's the only one, not Jimmy Butler, and you're not going to put Bam Adebayo on Kevin Durant. But the Miami Heat we saw last year, and I called it last year.
They can get hot.
The Heat were the Bucks' kryptonite, and they still are. They're the team that is so much more physical, match up perfectly with them. They'll beat the Bucks. The Sixers, I still just don't believe in. So I think Miami's coming. And Jordan, the Knicks, all of a sudden, that were at 4th, dropped to 7.
Yeah. Yeah, the Knicks are there was a lot to be excited for up in New York for what's his face, who I can't stand, the comedian up in New York, who talks about how New York's the best city of all time. I can't think of his name. Is it Michael Rappaport? Yeah. I am right. It is Michael Rappaport. Yeah. He's gonna have a rough beginning of the summer because the Knicks aren't making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. I think the Bulls are actually gonna possibly get that next spot. I think the Knicks are getting pushed out. Celtics are gonna start winning games. Also, look for Charlotte to start losing games because they are screwed without LaMelo Ball. Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, still scary, and Gordon Hayward's playing pretty good basketball, but LaMelo Ball, losing him, Mitch, is just that's devastating because he was having such a good season.
Will he win Rookie of the Year?
He was a slam dunk for Rookie of the Year. But no, he can't win Rookie of the Year. He's going to miss the next 30 games.
I'm double checking to make sure you hold the same standard all the awards. That's all I'm doing.
Well, yeah. How can you can't win an award and not show up for work? Yes, I am standard across the board for that. Okay.
Unless apparently people thought Zion could for only showing up for about 10% of the games last year. But
yeah. And they're gosh, I don't know how they can't figure it out. I feel like they have enough pieces. That's kind of mind-boggling to me that they're 18-24, and I'm really hoping that somebody can pry is free agency gone? I mean, is it over? Not free agency, is the trade deadline gone?
No, tomorrow, I believe.
I really want to see if somebody can snag JJ that's in playoff contention. Because you know that J.J. Redick never missed the playoffs until he joined the Pelicans. He made the playoffs every single year of his NBA career until he joined the Pelicans. And it's driving me crazy that he's not going to be in the playoffs. I'm hoping somebody needs a shooter because a lot of teams need a shooter. And honest to God, the Pelicans, I don't know. I don't think they're going to figure it out anytime soon. So get J.J. Redick out of there, man. Stop wasting his time. He only has a couple years left. All right? Ugh. It's JJ behind me.
Cavs suck.
What?
Cavs suck.
The Cavs aren't as bad as we. 16-27. We thought they'd win 22. We bet the under that they would win 22 games this season. And there's 30 games left, and they have to win 7 of 30. Mitch, they're winning 7 of 30. We have to give it up for them. They're having a much better season me and you thought they were going to have. And Darius Garland's playing pretty good basketball right now, but it's kind of offensive that the Cavs Twitter has to say, like, hey, shout out to Darius Garland. Our point guard, yeah, he's averaged 6 assists the last 3 games. Like, I saw that the other day, and I was just like, are we congratulating our point guard on averaging 6 assists the last 3 games?
Doing the job they're supposed to do?
Oh, my God. I was like, no. Like, why could you put... That's so embarrassing as a fan. Like, that's what we're hanging our hats on right now? Darius Garland, yeah, he's assisting the hell out of the ball. That dude had 2 more last night. He got it up to 6. Like, no. Like, James Harden's over there throwing himself alley-oops off the backboard for assists. And we have Darius Garland. He did have a pretty cool assist the other day between the legs. I have no idea how it got to where it went. It was pretty unbelievable. So we'll give him props on that. Shout out to Darius Garland. You all right over there?
I'm just like trying to figure out how the Cavs are going to win 7 more games, and I just don't see it.
Oh, I think the Cavs are definitely going to win 7 more games. You want to put a bet on it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? What are we betting here? We'll go a 12-pack of whatever beer.
Can we do seltzers? I'm looking at after my figure right now.
Yeah, we can do seltzers. We can do these ones.
Good.
Yeah.
Yo, wait. You know what? I do have one headline. Did you see? Is that White Claw variety pack number 3?
It is. It is. I have a pineapple one and I have a mango one. And it's
just
strawberry and blackberry.
Yeah.
They're pretty solid. Definitely pretty solid. This is the end of the show, kind of, Mitch. Honest to God, we don't have a whole lot to cover. I know you got to get out and do some live broadcasting. Guys, before you leave, we have some stuff to go over. One of them is the bracket standings, Mitch. Let's go over that briefly. Have any questions, by the way, hashtag the ball pit on Twitter. Mitch has a fantastic Twitter. He would love to tweet with you guys and at you guys always. At Mitchell Balla. At Mitchell Balla. Mitch, before we get into who has bigger balls, do you have any candidates?
Oh, I have plenty of candidates. So many candidates, and I'm going to pick one to roll over onto Thursday unless somebody just comes out of nowhere and just has
Who has bigger balls?
Sorry for interrupting you, but
that's okay.
Mitch, who would you like to nominate for who has bigger balls?
Jordan. There's just so many people that came out this weekend.
What do you mean?
I told you.
What do you mean who
Thursday.
came out this weekend?
Just let me retract that statement. I told you Thursday in episode 35. I think we didn't have any very good big ball candidates because, people were like, we need to make a big splash. They're waiting for Tuesday. Well, boy, was I right, Jordan. We have so many candidates. I am rolling one over to Thursday. And for today, my candidate would be Chicago Cubs prospect Jesus Camargo, who was arrested after police found 21 pounds of meth in his team equipment bag.
What?
Yeah, not 2.1, not 2 plus 1, 21, like the legal drinking age. 21 pounds of meth.
21 pounds of meth? What would
which
you
is illegal.
Impact in what? How? Oh my! Oh,
hey man, that's the life of.
He's going to jail forever, ever. Like, what are you doing?
That's my candidate.
Yeah,
Pounds of meth.
21 pounds of meth. That's a lot. That's a lot of pounds of meth. Hey guys, that's what we wanted to go over. Right now, a leader in our bracket is Bods Midsgads with 430 points. He's in. Oh no, that is the overall winner. Is that no? That's ours. He's in the 99.4 percentile. That's unbelievable. Big Mike out there in third place in the 95.3 percentile. Guys, you're killing the bracket. Keep it moving. A lot of people's bracket, Mitch, their champion is out. Either Illinois, Ohio State, or Oklahoma State. So we'll update people on Twitter and all of our other platforms for the standings. Remember, first place gets $50 and a shirt. Second place gets $50 and a shirt. And third place gets $50. But when Alabama wins and I win, I'll still give you guys the shirt. You
act like Gonzaga's going somewhere. Nah, Gonzaga's got this.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, if you like this, please make sure you like this video. We want to get out to more people. Let's just be frank about it. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify or iTunes. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Mitch is doing some baseball broadcasting pretty soon, so we might be changing our times up slightly. We'll be tweeting that out, putting it out on Instagram and everywhere else. I'm Jordan McKelly.
Me amo Mitch.
This is my hand strengthening device.
You don't let fucking Baker Mayfield do this shit to you, bro.
And we're out of here.